Here, speaker, business strategist, and impact coach at Creative Flow. And I am really excited to bring to you today some really helpful principles and tips around how do I stop the revenue roller coaster and scale my sales. So that's the topic of today's AMA. What I'm going to do, I'm going to share some content with you, and then I'm going to take any questions that you might have relating to that or this whole topic that has come up for you. So please pop in the chat now. Hashtag live and where you are watching from, just so as I know that you can actually see this and that I'm not just talking to myself. So yes, so please do that. I'm just going to see if I can find myself on here. I know there's a bit of a delay sometimes, by the way, sometimes in chats coming through and me actually seeing them. But yes, it does help if I actually know what is going on. So here we are. Looks like I might be live, but if you could let me know that you can hear me okay, that would be really... Myself on here. I know there's a bit of a delay sometimes, by the way, sometimes in chats coming. There we are. Yes, a delay. As you can hear. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the number one vital question that nobody asks when it comes to looking at the sales in your business when you want more clients. We're also going to look at number two, which are what are the vital elements that you need to have in place in order to be able to finally stop the revenue roller coaster. And I've also got some tips about how to implement that as well that are really, really important. And when it comes to scaling your sales, the number one mistake to avoid making, and this is so relevant if you are advertising online or if you're considering advertising online. As I mentioned, I will be answering all these questions as well. So, hey, Rebecca, live from Barn, you think I'll be able to pronounce it? It's only down the road for me. Live from Barn Oldswick. And Susan saying, yes, I'm live. Thank you. So I know Facebook and LinkedIn are working anyway. So good stuff. And the comments are working. Okay, so let's dive into this. And if you have any questions, please pop them in now and I'll try and address them as I go along as well. All right, first one, the one vital question that nobody asks when you want to increase your sales. The question is, do you actually need more clients? Now, I want you to think about this because you might be going, well, yes, I need more clients. I don't have enough money in my bank account. Now, if you have tons of capacity, that may well be true. But if you are busy, it may not be true. And there might be a few other alternatives that would actually have you having a much better flow of money through your business. Is it actually a cash flow issue more than a I'm not getting enough clients issue? And I wanted to address this first because I hopefully you're sat there going, oh, right, okay, that's really interesting. And there's numerous ways that we can look at your business, look at the numbers in your business to figure out, some key things. And here's two tips for you, okay? This is super valuable, by the way. Probably shouldn't even be telling you this. But number one is to look at your, how long is it taking people to pay you? So it might not be that you don't have enough clients. It might be that those clients either aren't paying you or they're not paying you on time. Look at your terms and conditions. Look at your contracts and client agreements. So wherever possible, you want to be actually building up enough trust with your clients so that they're paying you either sizable deposits or perhaps full amounts up front. That really gives you a committed client, by the way, when you have that happening, rather than you doing lots of work and then not getting paid further down the road. Now, I know in different industries there can be certain situations, like for instance in building, they have a certain amount that has to be kept on retention. But actually there are, guidelines for people getting paid a certain amount as they're going along. I would definitely advise the same with creative services. I see this all the time where people are going, I've done all this work and now this person has just bailed and hasn't paid me. or they're just paying really late, and instead of focusing on doing the work that you love doing in your business and running your business, you end up chasing clients. So please do not be getting into that situation. And then the other part of it is maybe you actually have got enough clients, but you're not charging enough, or you're not structuring your offerings in such a way that those who can afford and want to invest more actually are doing so. So those are two big tips, but there's actually more. There's several other reasons why you may not have appropriate cash flow in your business. So obviously I can't kind of go into all of that right now. I want to get on to the next point, but please just make sure that you're doing that. And by the way, if you feel you know, your prices are right, are you discounting? Because discounting has a massive impact on your bottom line. So you could be going, oh, I've got all these revenues coming in, but I'm not getting to take this money home. So that could be another key reason. All right. Number 2, you've got to have certain elements in place to make sure that you are having the flow of clients that you want. Okay. Yeah, Jean is just saying, seems tough for B2B consumer goods to get payment up front. But now you mention it, I guess I should be asking. Yes, absolutely, Gina. Gina, we spoke last week. She's going to be on my podcast, which will be launching finally in the new year. Been a bit of delay on that for various reasons, but all very good reasons. So yes, definitely, you got to be looking at terms and conditions for sure. Okay, because you got to remember, you're a business, not a bank, right? And if you know, if you can structure things in such a way that you incentivize people to pay up front, even if that's not the norm in your industry. And yeah, but that requires a longer conversation. Okay, so the second thing that you got to look at is having these particular elements in place, and that's what I call your client attraction and conversion engine. Now, I want to go back to the AMA live that I did last week, and please go and check that out. It'll be in the feed wherever you're watching. And I talked about market dominating position and the importance of really being crystal clear on that. And that's so important because actually you kind of need to have a good idea about that to be able to put the first element in place, which is about being really, walking the right way, which is being really clear on who is your ideal client and what are their hot buttons. Now, depending on your business, you may actually have, in fact, let me just put this over here because I don't want to make sure I'm close to the mic. There we go. Now, in bigger businesses and maybe some retailing and things like that, you may well have a few customer segments. Definitely with service businesses, the smaller you are, the fewer you ought to have, because it's a big enough job to market effectively to one customer segment. And if there's only you that's doing that, or there's only one person in the business that's doing that, then that's what you may well want to do, at least until you've really got that totally nailed and it's really working well for you. So you've got to be able to know what their hot buttons are. And as I mentioned the last time, with your market dominating position, it's not enough to differentiate. You've got to differentiate in a way that is hitting your clients' hot buttons. Otherwise, why do they care? So that, because your differentiation helps you to stand out and get noticed, but you're not going to engage the right people unless they're going, oh, wow, yes, that's me. This person can help me with this product or this service. So these are things that you've really got to be looking at. Now, if you've been going quite a while, you probably will have a good amount of information on that, but you've got to drill down into it. Maybe you need to do some extra research. Maybe you've got to have some conversations with existing customers. Maybe people who didn't buy from you. Why didn't they buy from you? So these are sort of some of the things to really look at. Okay, so the next thing you got to look at is having a compelling offer. Now, this is what I'm talking about here is the offer that people are buying from you. Now, it may be, if you are a product-based business, it may be more of an offering, and these are the reasons why you would buy these products from us instead of from somebody else. As a service-based business, that is the kind of the actual offer that you have. And please, 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 unless you are genuinely a proper freelancer that goes and works for agencies, sell packages. I had a conversation in the comments on LinkedIn earlier this morning where someone is saying, oh, I've been advised to do this. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. This has made such a difference to my clients. So my clients typically double and treble their prices. They quite often double or more their conversion rates. And I've even had one client who has 10 times her prices because of having, putting all this stuff in place. It's not just one thing, by the way, it's how it all works together. So you've got to make sure that your offer is hitting those hot buttons. That's why you got to know that first. So this is a project. This is what I want you to really think about. This is a project to get really clear on your market dominating position, your ideal client, your messaging around that, your compelling offer. And then we get on to the processes. These are the things that have to happen over and over and over and over and over again. I'm doing it that many times for a reason. Because those of you who are more creative and perhaps more extroverted, one or both of those may not like doing repetitive work. But getting consistent sales means you need to have consistent actions, right? So the first part of that is to get really clear on what are the best ways for you to generate those prospects that become your ideal clients. And I would suggest for each person that is responsible for bringing clients in, you have between 1 and 3. And do not depend on word of mouth. I am a big believer in word of mouth, by the way. However, it doesn't tend to be predictable. So I would suggest you have at least one other strategy as well as word of mouth to bring in those sales and help them to be sustainable. This is absolutely critical. And of course, you want to make sure that the ways you have of generating prospects are in flow for you, that they are in line with your natural strengths. Look at me. I'm here being live on video. This is so much fun for me, but it might be absolutely horrible for somebody else. Not necessarily a nerves thing, but just not the way that they would like to kind of put themselves out there and attract their ideal clients. And that's perfectly okay. You've got to work with what works for you. And then the second part of the process is having a sales structure that sells. Now, obviously, there is some project work in setting this stuff up. But once you have set all of this up, then it works for you over and over again. And in that sales structure that sells, you have got to be able to demonstrate the value that you deliver. You've got to be able to demonstrate how you get rid of the problem that your ideal client has that they don't want, and how you solve it by giving them what they do want. Okay. And that is absolutely critical. And when you do that right, by the way, you may find that you can actually earn as people are going through that sales structure that sells. It makes it totally natural for you. So there's nothing pushy or sleazy or anything like that with it. If you have some ideas, like selling isn't sleazy, by the way. If you have something that helps people and they need that, why wouldn't you want to share it with them? It's if you want to make a bigger impact in the world through your business, then this is how you do it, by helping more people. So, and helping them to the way that's to the best of your ability and the best that they're able to invest for themselves. Absolutely. Okay, so Jean is asking, value proposition is the same as compelling offer. I think was what you meant there. Yeah. It depends on kind of where in the process the value proposition comes. I would say the value proposition is probably more the market dominating position, but then because you've got your company as a whole, and then you've got individual products and services within that, and you need to have a compelling offer for each product or service within that. So it depends. It could be both. It depends on kind of where it comes and what you're talking about. And also, I think one of the key distinctions between the value proposition and market dominating position is that a market dominating position, when done well, means that your prospective client, it just makes it like it's what I call a no-brainer for them, that they would be an absolute fool to go anywhere else, and that they know that. And I think value proposition sometimes can be watered down if the process of getting to it isn't done with enough skill and depth, and actually with enough knowledge of what your business really is, and of your clients as well. Okay, great. Excellent. Hey, Lorraine. Excellent. Oh, good. And Michelle found that a good question as well. Wonderful. Okay. So the sales structure that sells is going to make your life so much easier. Imagine having all of this in place, right? I'm just going to bring it up. Let me go there. And I go here. Okay. So imagine having all of this in place. So this is what I call your client attraction and conversion engine. It's an engine because you want it to be ticking over all the time, as I mentioned. Now, for some of us, we love projects. We love to do new things. And we're not always so great at implementing those processes. But when you do this right, what you'll find is you'll be able to automate certain parts and then make the other parts in person if necessary. If it's a service-based business, you will need to do probably some parts in person in some respect or another, or you can outsource that. No, great person who you can outsource that to, by the way, if you want to know who they are. So if you are a product-based business, then you still need that sales structure that sells. Because by the way, that sales structure that sells also qualifies your prospects and helps them to know, are you a good fit? Do you want to be turning them away? Or they be going, actually, no, this isn't a good fit for me. So you want a compelling offer that attracts the right people and repels the wrong ones. But just in case some get through, you want to be qualifying them as well through that process. Putting this in place is so important. And the reason why I keep talking about projects and processes is because the making sure that this is built into your business plan is really, really important. I cannot emphasize that enough. And not just your plan, but into your calendar. You want to be having appointments showing up in your phone that or your whatever calendar you use, that's saying, okay, it's now time for me to do X, Y, Z. And that is happening on a daily, weekly basis so that you stop the revenue roller coaster. Because here's what happens. The revenue roller coaster is, oh, splurge of marketing activity. Oh, now I've got some clients. I'm going to slow or stop my marketing activity because I'm too busy. Okay, so now work. And then, oh no, I have no clients. Splurge of marketing activity. Okay, this is like random acts of marketing. You do not want that. What you actually want to have are thought through, strategic plans, processes, and promotions that all come together to have a steady stream of clients, or clients at the right time for you and your business. So I'm going to move on to the third point now. If you've got any other questions on this, please pop them below and I will come back to that. Okay, and this is the third point is the number one mistake to avoid when it comes to scaling your business. Okay, I've heard this likened to being in a boat that has a leak and rowing into the center of the lake to try and fix the leak. What am I talking about? Turning on the Facebook ad funnel, the LinkedIn funnel, the Google PPC, okay, basically online advertising. Though it applies to offline advertising as well. And it's doing it before you're ready. If you do not have a working client and attraction conversion engine, if you don't have that in place, please do not do online advertising yet. Online advertising is a brilliant way to scale your sales, but you've got to make sure that you are ready to do that. And actually, quite often, there are free ways of growing your business, increasing your revenues that don't have any online advertising included in them. It's not that I'm anti it, I'm not. And in fact, I'm very keen for people to do it when it's right for them. And it can actually be a brilliant way, particularly for those who are more introverted, to be able to market their business, to use systems like SEO and online advertising. Um, However, if you don't have a working system, what are you doing? You're amplifying that. So the system that isn't working suddenly has got way more people coming through it, and it's still not going to work. Just like trying to repair a boat in the middle of a lake, you just got more water kind of, gushing in and sinking the boat. It's the same thing. If you're not ready for online advertising, then what you're doing is you're throwing out money. Okay, your money's going on the ads, but the money is not coming back in, and that could sink your business. So please, please, please be careful. Do not make this mistake. And it's amazing how much you can grow your business before doing online advertising. And in fact, to allow you to build up a pot of money to invest in it properly so that you can hire an expert, so that you can have a few grand, ideally, of ad spend ready to go to test things out. Because even when you have a working system, doing that where you're more in that and then taking that online, you're probably going to have to tinker and tweak and test with a few things. So, but there's lots of ways that you can grow your business organically as well, and often without a lot of extra time, which I think is, quite often. Have you heard of the 80-20 rule? Okay, that 80% of the results comes from 20% of the effort. And this is so, so true. This is how I'm able to work with clients who are mega busy, yet not earning, the business isn't as profitable as they want it to be. And I can actually have them doing less things, but they're doing them more consistently and getting them much, much better results. And if you want to find out more about that, I have a session which is called the 50K Challenge. And in this, my promise to you is that I will help you to find 50K in additional revenues without spending a penny more on marketing or advertising. And I'll pop the link to this afterwards as well when we have finished this. Because the thing is that you want, at the end of the day, what do you want in your business? You want to make an impact. You want to help more people. You want to have the lifestyle that you want. You want to have more money in your bank account to be able to fund that lifestyle, your children's education, travel, a better home, your hobbies and interests, whatever it is that you're looking to do. The more that you are able to help other people, the more you're going to be able to do that. And putting the client attraction conversion engine in place, making sure that your business is actually working properly. It's not always about sales and marketing. Sometimes it's about personal productivity. Sometimes it's about cash flow. Sometimes it's about pricing. Sometimes it's about making sure you're not making mistakes by throwing good money after bad with advertising when you're actually not yet set up for that. And I have worked with businesses who have been going for 20 and more years who actually don't have this stuff in place. So please don't feel bad if you're sitting there or walking around, however you're listening to this, and you're thinking, oh God, right. Don't feel bad. Like, you would be amazed how many businesses are successful in spite of not having this stuff in place. However, what happens when a competitor comes along? What happens when they're hit with a pandemic? What happens when there's a recession? Then that's when these things really show up. And I do not want that happening for you. So please, please, please take this information that I've shared with you today and apply it. Comment below and let me know what's one thing, even just one thing, that you are going to do differently as a result of consuming this content. And if you would like my help with that, please feel free to message me or to book in for a 50K session, because I set a big goal just a few months ago, in fact, to help small business owners, right? Small and medium-sized business owners to unlock 100 million in additional revenues. And whilst doing so, to create 1 million days of smiles for those in need through my giving partner, B1G1. And I was so stoked. Last week, I actually shared a screenshot showing that I have helped unlock the first of that 100 million. So the first million has been unlocked already just in a few months. Yeah, I'd love to do the same for you as well. So doesn't look like any other questions just yet. If you're watching this in the replay, remember to put a hashtag replay, ask a question in the comments or PM me. I'll be happy to answer you. Have a fantastic day. By the way, next one of these is happening Friday. Let me just have a look. Which one is it? Hang on. I've got 2 more that I'm doing before Christmas because I just thought, actually, I don't want to have it that, you might be choosing to wind down and maybe that's the best thing for you. But for a lot of people, you don't need to. You could be taking this knowledge and applying it and, making sure that you're really hitting the ground running after the holidays. Okay, so yes, fabulous. Brilliant, Michelle. Glad to hear that. Okay, my big takeaway, creating a process for sales so we don't reinvent the wheel. Absolutely. Rebecca, looking into market dominating position and compelling offer. Fantastic. Good stuff, Gina. Thank you for clarifying. Excellent. Okay, so on Friday this week at 1:30 UK, 8 a.m. EST, how do I grow my business when our capacity is maxed out? And then the following week, Tuesday, 22nd of December at 4 p.m., so 4 p.m. UK, how do I stop working all the hours and have a team I can 100% trust? So I have set up an event. If you go and look at my profile on LinkedIn, and don't worry, I will be sharing them on the other platforms if you're not on LinkedIn. But you can go to LinkedIn and join the event. I'll be sharing in there all the lives that I will be doing over the next this week and next week before the holidays, and we finally close up. All right, so have a fantastic rest of the day. I am looking forward to hearing your results. Let me know how you get on.